welcome everyone, welcome to RJ Boxing S&C. Today we're going to be doing a preview and prediction of Lomachenko vs Kambosos.
So yeah, Loma versus Kambosos, a really exciting fight in the lightweight division, right to the top of the lightweight division this weekend, Saturday night, May the 11th. It's for the vacant IBF World Lightweight title. Obviously both of these guys have been champion before, but they've taken a couple losses in that recently. They're looking to get back to the top of the division, become world champion again. So they're both going to give it everything they've got, because this one, for both guys, really is make or break for different reasons. In with our predictions for this one, as I said, it's a really exciting fight, two really good fighters, but I think a lot of people are leaning the same sort of way with their predictions for this one. But let's find out what Rav thinks. Rav, who do you think is going to win this fight?
I think that Lomachenko is going to win this fight. The reason why I think he's going to win this fight, because he's won his fights with ease, and Kambosos has struggled with his fights, and also Lomachenko has got the better fighting approach. His footwork is brilliant and his pivots, and I think he's just going to outbox him with his movement. I don't think Kambosos is going to stand a chance. He's going to try coming in close, but Lomachenko is going to keep moving off and scoring points without scoring. Your opinion on this fight? Who do you think is going to win and how they're going to win this fight?
I agree with you massively on this one, and most people. I think Lomachenko's got the win. I think he's, even at his age now, in his mid-30s, a lot of people saying he's past it. I don't think he's past it. I think he may be on the slide a little bit, of course, but look at his fight with Devin Haney last year. He still looked absolutely brilliant in that. Whether you thought he won it or not, he showed he's still right at the top of the boxing world. I think Kambosos is a very good fighter, but he's a basic fighter at world level. Lomachenko is the elite with skills that we've never seen before. So like Rav said, footwork and skill set is all with Lomachenko. I think he's just going to run rings around Kambosos all night. The only advantage I see Kambosos having is that he's younger and it's in his home country of Australia, but I can't see that being a problem for Lomachenko. I think he peppers him with a jab, steps off, angles him off and outboxes him all night and wins a very clear points decision. Rav, what do you think? Do you think this goes the distance, or do you think Lomachenko can stop him?
I think he's going to stop him. Yeah. What do you think?
Oh, yeah, I do think points, as I said, but I think he can force a stoppage. Do you think he'll knock him out clean, or do you think it'll be like an accumulation where he breaks him down?
I think he'll break him down with like accumulation, maybe a TKO.
Yeah, that's it. If it was a stoppage, that is what I do see happening. I think Loma's still got the work rate to bust Kambosos' body, really tire him out, really maul his face. But I don't think he has that one punch knockout power where he can like completely wipe Kambosos out.
And I think it's going to be a late TKO, not an early one. So he'll outbox him, and he'll just get near the end where Kambosos starts tiring, where he tires him out for outboxing him for his movement, his brilliant movement. So let's wait and see.
So yeah, that's our predictions. Rav saying Lomachenko late stoppage, me saying Lomachenko wide on points. But I do agree with Rav, if Loma really puts the work on him, he could get him out of there in the later round. But yeah, as you can see and hear, we're both massively favouring Lomachenko in this one, as I think most people are. But there are a couple of mutual opponents that these guys have both fought, and one of their mutual opponents is a man called Teofimo Lopez, a guy that you'll remember beat Lomachenko a few years back, but then actually went and lost to George Kambosos afterwards. So if you look at it that way, Kambosos has actually beat a guy that Lomachenko has lost to. Does this give him an advantage? Does it have an effect on the fight? What do you think, Rav?
Now, styles may fight. Just because Lomachenko lost, it doesn't mean that Kambosos is going to beat Lomachenko. Lomachenko's got a much better style, he's got a much better movement. Maybe he had a bad night that night, anything could have happened. He didn't have a good training camp, so just because he's had that bad training camp don't mean that Kambosos is going to beat him, because obviously he beat Lopez. So that's my opinion on that subject.
Yeah, I agree with Rav on that one. Styles definitely do make fights. Triangle theories don't work in boxing. How many times have we seen a guy lose to someone and then go and fight a guy that has beat that person and then ends up beating that guy? Like it's all scrambled up in boxing. Form comes into it. As Rav said, training camps come into it. Lomachenko, you can't make excuses in boxing. He lost fair and square to Lopez, but he did say he had an injury going into that fight. But I do think Lopez was just a bit too big, too athletic for him that night. But once again, another thing Rav said, styles make fights. I think Kambosos against Teofimo Lopez was absolutely brilliant, had the best night of his career. I don't actually think he'll ever get that form back, but Lopez stood in front of him. He gave Kambosos a chance. They had a bit of a tear up in there. Lomachenko ain't like that. He's going to box a move around Kambosos, step around all night, and he ain't going to let it be a tear up. So Kambosos beat Lopez because he was going in there with a guy who was a power puncher but a bit of a plodder. Against Lomachenko, he's in there with a skillful boxer that he's going to find very hard to hit, nail down and turn it into a tear up. Future opponent that both of these guys have fought is Devin Haney, a guy who's been in the news recently because of his fight and his loss to Ryan Garcia. But we remember a year back, he beat Lomachenko in a fight that was very close and a lot of people thought could have gone either way. And he actually, just before that, about a year before that, beat George Kambosos twice in Kambosos' home country of Australia. Rav, what's your thoughts on Devin Haney and how he beat both of these guys?
My thoughts on Devin Haney, I think that Lomachenko won that fight. A lot of people saying that Devin Haney won, but in my opinion, Lomachenko beat him just about. It was very, very close. But with Kambosos, he got battered twice when he fought Devin Haney. Absolutely battered.
Yeah, that's facts. You got to look at how they both did against Devin Haney. You can't say, oh, they both lost to him. It's the same thing. It's not. Lomachenko, I agree with Rav. I had him winning that fight 8 rounds to 4. Can't quit a robbery because I know a lot of people thought Devin Haney won, but I do think more people thought Lomachenko won. So you can say it was a controversial decision. Either way, it was a close, really competitive fight. Kambosos versus Haney was not competitive at all. He got battered and schooled the first fight, and then in the second fight came in and did exactly the same thing and got battered and schooled again. It shows that he can't really change. He can't really adapt, and when he was in there with the last slick boxer like Haney, he got schooled. That's probably going to happen against Lomachenko again. We've been really going against George Kambosos. It sounds bad, but he's a really good fighter. It's just Lomachenko is top class and still at the very top of the boxing world, and Kambosos does have his limits. But let's talk about quickly, because we always give both sides of the take here at RJ Boxing. Let's talk about how Kambosos can win this fight, if he can win this fight, and what he's got to do to get that victory. For me, I think he stands a chance in the first 4 or 5 rounds whilst Loma's feeling his way into the fight. We know Lomachenko does usually start slow. Kambosos has got to try and land a big shot and put him down early and then not let him recover. We know he can do this. He dropped Teofimo Lopez with a massive shot in the first round of their fight and then continued to stay on top of Lopez for most of the fight. Lomachenko's a bit more tricky to land clean on. He's got a good chin too. I don't see Kambosos dropping him in the early rounds, but I think that's what he's got to do and what he should try to do if he wants to stand a chance in this fight. Because if you let Lomachenko get into his groove, get into his matrix flow, then you're going to be chasing him all night. You're going to be chasing shadows all night. So I think, yeah, he needs to make a really good start and just stay scrapping with Lomachenko the whole way. Then he might be able to get a points victory. You never know, a bit biased in Australia. You know how it goes with boxing. Rav, what do you think he's got to do to win this fight, Kambosos?
I think Kambosos has got to walk him down and come in close, come in with uppercuts, really digging them uppercuts, but I think you've got to try and stop him early, because if he goes to points, he'll definitely lose, because Lomachenko's too slick and they're out boxing with ease. But I think Lomachenko's gonna stop him anyway.
So yeah, that's our picks for this one. Both going with Lomachenko. Can't see Kambosos winning it. Let us know in the comment section if you're picking Kambosos, because it'll be a bold claim, but you never know, you might be right. Thank you for